And Alison Moyet with Only You here on BBC Coventry and Warwickshire. Nearly 7:20. If you need to get up out of bed, if you're still having a bit of a lazy lie-in on a Sunday, which is allowed, you can do that as long as you've got the radio on. But if you think you've got to get up, 7:20 is the time. Now, it's been a tumultuous couple of weeks in American politics, I'm sure you'll agree, as Donald Trump went from rank outsider right into the Oval Office as president-elect. He's also featured on this morning's Observer. Showtime is the headline of the paper. After Broadway boos, Trump and Pence get down to work. Donald Trump and Mike Pence pictured. And the booing they're talking about is when Mike Pence went to a performance of the Broadway musical Hamilton on Friday and got all manner of abuse, which has dominated social media ever since. Now, this week, Oxford Dictionary has declared its International Word of the Year, post-truth. It's defined by the dictionary as an adjective relating to circumstances in which objective facts are less influential in shaping public opinion than appeals to emotion and personal belief. And it's argued that the 2,000% increase in the usage of the term post-truth can be attributed in part to Donald Trump's presidential nomination and, of course, the Brexit result earlier in the year. Duncan Williams is from Sun Christian Publishing and also editor of Sorted magazine. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Justine. Hi.
First of all, what's your reaction to Donald Trump becoming president-elect?
Well, to be honest, I, like many people, was quite shocked. I listened to a lot of his election campaign speeches, and I'm surprised he engaged as many people as he did. So I'm quite surprised.
Now, this notion of post-truth and his success in appealing to people's emotions, what does that say about the electorate?
Well, it indicates that people are, engaged by their emotions more than by the promises that are clearly very shallow. I mean, already a number of the promises that Trump had made in his campaign have been backtracked, and we follow the crowd. I think that people feel when they're frightened that by following a strong leader or apparently strong leader, they somehow feel safe in a time of turbulence. And I suppose Trump has been engaging people through that means. I think he has won over a huge number of people on an emotional basis.
I mean, whatever people think about him, he certainly has been very charismatic on the campaign trail.
I mean, most certainly. I mean, that headline that you quoted today is Showtime. He knows how to be a showman. He knows how to engage a crowd, and he knows how to manipulate the media. So as a reality TV star, his skill set was to grab headlines using very emotive speeches that guaranteed he was, winning news copy across the globe. Whereas Hillary, who was always going high, as she said, he goes low, I go high. Hillary simply wasn't engaging the media headlines in the way that Trump was. And as a result, people were seeing that, Trump was getting more coverage, and that might have helped. Well, it obviously did help him tremendously. So we are to blame. The media are partly to blame because it's very easy to create headlines when you've got such a multitude of sensationalist quotes from Donald Trump.
It's interesting because Hillary Clinton had an awful lot of celebrity endorsement, which normally plays out well with the electorate, but didn't seem to work for her.
No, that's peculiar, and I know that often celebrities can help because an endorsement from a well-loved celebrity can actually help. However, it was clear that many of the Hollywood elite who spoke on issues of social injustice simply, again, did not engage people who felt, well, okay, they may be on our side, but they haven't experienced being on our side, and that's the crucial difference. So voters felt, well, Robert De Niro may be very anti-Trump, but he hasn't experienced poverty like I've experienced. He hasn't experienced unemployment like I've experienced. And Trump was able to win those voters over with feelings of fear and that they have been excluded. It's a feeling, when you become attracted, as we all know, to a very large, powerful movement, such as an election campaign, you become part of a group, and it gives you a feeling of security. And that momentum can be built upon. It's very cathartic when you go to a sporting event and you're able to shout and scream at your opposing team. It releases obviously a lot of anger because you're able to focus your anger on an opponent. And it's very intoxicating. And I have not witnessed an election campaign that has had such an emotive undercurrent to it as the Trump campaign. So the result is he's got in.
And what was also interesting is, to me, when I saw him up on stage, he almost reminded me of some of the American preachers and some of the Christian channels out in America in the way that he presented himself.
Well, that is true, Justin. Yeah, I mean, if you've been to a very charismatic evangelical service, a Christian pastor is very, very skilled at crowd manipulation, if you look at it at its core. And the ability to engage a congregation is a skill that many of these church leaders have. And certainly Trump has got those skills, and he has won over a section of Christians, right-wing evangelists or right to centre to right evangelists, through claiming that he has a strong faith and through using many of the techniques that you can witness in a very, very large stadium in America where you have got Christian services taking place. So there are similarities. Again, when you go to a church service, you feel part of, you feel safe, you feel that you're on a secure path. And it is very addictive. It's very intoxicating if you feel insecure or unsafe. And the world is a pretty scary place at the moment. So these are historically similar circumstances when strong leaders and quite dictatorial leaders get into power. These ingredients are often in play.
Really good to talk to you this morning. Thank you very much indeed. Duncan Williams, Director of Publishing for Sun Christian Publishing, also editor of Sorted magazine. And listen, if you want to air your views on Donald Trump, we can do a bit of that as well. All the usual ways to get in touch. It's BBC Coventry and Warwickshire on Facebook, at BBC Cov Walks on Twitter, and the text number 81333. Start your message with CW. To take us to the news headlines, Mr. Roy Orbison, the big O himself.